There are a lot of real estate misconceptions, and I see a lot of these as I work with clients. But here are the top 5 that I see most often, and number 5 might actually surprise you. First, let's talk about money. When you're buying a house, a lot of people think your down payment is the only thing that you have to come out of pocket with to buy a house. And while yes, that is the biggest chunk, you're also going to have to come out of pocket with money for closing costs, and those can be up to 2 to 3% of the purchase price. So you want to budget that in addition to your down payment. And a few more pesky costs you'll have paying for your inspection and your appraisal. That could be another $1,000 to $1,500 out of pocket. While we're on this topic of down payments, here's a bonus misconception. You don't need 20% down in order to buy a house. There's a variety of loan programs out there, some that allow you to put down as little as 3.5%. Now keep in mind, your monthly payment will be higher if you have less money down. And if you put less than 20% down, you'll have something called PMI, which is an additional amount on your mortgage payment. So there are pros and cons to both. So it's important to work with a lender who is really helpful in educating you on this stuff. By the way, if you're a first-time home buyer, make sure to check the description below for our first-time home buyer resources. Okay, the next misconception that I talk about all the time, specifically with my seller clients, is renovating your home before you sell. Many people believe this will increase your home value and allow you to get a higher price for your house, but will it? It depends on what you're renovating, and most of the time, you're not getting dollar for dollar back. For example, if you want to put all new flooring throughout your house and you spend $20,000 doing that, you're not going to be able to list your home for $20,000 higher than you would have without the floors. I mean, you can, but there's no guarantee you're going to get that price just because you have new floors. So it really depends on the projects that you're looking to do before you list the house. Now, if you have a house that is a complete disaster, maybe it's an investment property that just needs a full redo, that's another story. And in that case, you really have 2 options: either fix it up or sell it as is. And most of the time, depending on the market, I'm going to tell you to sell it as is. Here's a quick story. I had a client who had a complete fixer-upper home, and they were going back and forth between completely renovating it and then selling it, or just trying to sell as is and hope that they got a great investor who would be able to fix it up and have the resources to do so. In looking at the numbers at the cost it would take in order to renovate the property and do it the right way and then get it listed for sale, their profit margin was pretty slim. Of course, selling it as is came at a lower price, but they didn't have to put much of an investment into it. Well, they decided to sell as is. We ended up getting a higher price than they expected. Someone purchased it who wanted to flip it and resell it, and they ended up having trouble reselling the renovated property. So in this instance, it just made more sense to sell as is. So it's really a case-by-case basis, but don't think you'll get dollar for dollar back just because you renovated the home before listing it for sale. Okay, I hear this misconception all the time. We sold our house, or the house is sold. But really, it's just under contract. And there's a big difference. Just because you're under contract, the process is far from over. As a matter of fact, it's just getting started. It usually takes about 30 days to go through inspection and appraisal. And during that time, the buyers can cancel or the price could even change. The negotiations continue on during that time frame, especially after the inspection, where buyers can negotiate a concession or a purchase price reduction in lieu of repairs that are needed to the house. So really, nothing is set in stone once it's under contract, including the offer price. So just keep that in mind. If you're a buyer or a seller that gets an offer on your property that you've accepted, you still have a ways to go before the house is actually sold. Now, if you are on the sidelines and you're looking at homes that are listed on Zillow or any other sites out there and they say pending or under contract, this is important to remember as well. It doesn't mean the deal is done, and further, it doesn't mean that that's the price the house is going to sell for. The actual under contract price is not shared on the MLS or any other sites. So unless the agent is willing to disclose that to you, we don't usually know what the house is actually under contract for. Once the sale actually closes, that closing price is public. So keep that in mind as you're looking at homes that show under contract. Not only could that price be incorrect, but also you might have another opportunity to swoop in and grab it if the deal falls out. Okay, Okay, I can't tell you how many times I hear this. You're better off buying a new home than an old home. I'm not going to say this is wrong, but I've seen enough evidence to support the fact that buying new is not always a better option. New homes are great, but they're not always built as well as old homes. It really depends on the builder, but oftentimes things can be overlooked. For example, I've seen builders completely forget to insulate the entire attic space, and that's a big deal in Arizona in the summer. I'm sure you've heard horror stories on the news of home buyers who are really unhappy with their new build and builders aren't coming back to fix quality issues that have come up. There are plenty of issues that you can have with a new construction home, so it's not black and white that that is better than an old home by any means. Older homes actually have a lot going for them, especially if they've been well maintained. Oftentimes they're in better condition than a new build that was thrown together. The bones are good, the foundation has settled, and there shouldn't be a lot of surprises if they've been well maintained over the years. Now, here's the biggest misconception that I hear from my clients. A bedroom has to have a closet or it's not a bedroom. As a matter of fact, the MLS rules actually state that there is no definition of what a bedroom has to have in order to be considered a bedroom. What I've been told through the years is it has to have a door and a window. But as I dug into more building standards, there are some specifics about the ceiling height, the size of the room. Obviously, you can't have a tiny room with a low ceiling, and just because it has a door and a window, it's called a bedroom. That one always blows everyone's mind, and it can be a little bit misleading when you're looking at a property that says it's 4 bedrooms and you get there and you realize that one of the bedrooms doesn't have a closet. Oftentimes, a den is also considered a bedroom because you could use it as a bedroom and just bring in a wardrobe. So as you're out there home searching, don't be surprised if you show up to a house and one of the bedrooms doesn't have a closet. It's still technically allowed to be a bedroom. If these misconceptions blew your mind, make sure to check out the most shocking things that buyers discover when moving to Phoenix right here.